Maybe in this era, he wouldn't be considered one of the elite defenders, but in the era he played in, I think so. But again, like we was talking about the blue guys, the high IQ guys, like I don't think he was one of those.
You don't think?
All right, welcome back to another After Dark, everybody. Hope you all are having a good night so far. Hope you guys had a wonderful day. Nobody suggested this, and I don't care because I definitely want to watch this with you guys. This is from BTM, the Basketball Time Machine, the godfather of YouTube. Please go support this channel, you guys. Link is down below in the description. This is titled, If You Believe Michael Jordan Was a Bad Defender, Watch This. Yeah, say less. Say less, Sean. Say less, Sean. I'm here for it, man. So, I don't understand, like, okay. It used to never be a thing where people would dare say Jordan is a bad defender because we all watched him play. We all saw what we saw, and we're like, yep, no. That he's a dog on both ends. It's clear as day. All you gotta do is watch one game of him playing all the way to the end of his career, even as a Wizard. Guy's playing solid defense. He's playing hard. If anything, he's playing harder on defense than he is on offense. So it's a ridiculous argument. Nowadays, it's becoming trendy to say, oh yeah, Jordan wasn't good on defense. The DPOY was, it was unwarranted and all this crap, and I don't understand it. It's just stupid, like senseless slander, in my opinion. And that's why I clicked on this video, and that's why I wanted to watch it with you guys. So, as I always do, I'm linking the original video down below in the description. Highly recommend BTM's channel. You guys know me by now. I don't need to keep shouting it from the rooftop. BTM is that guy. Also, you see a list of channel members. Shout out to my channel members. I appreciate you all. Guys, please like the video and hit that hype button if you wanna help this video perform. I think that's all I gotta say on the intro. Let's get right into this and see what's going on here. And let's watch Sean's awesome intro here. It's classic.
Hey guys, this is Dominique Wilkins.
Hey, this is Shaun Kemp.
This is Gary Payton.
Hey, this is Pau Gasol.
NBA fans, what's up? This is Vince Carter here.
Hey, what's up? This is Matt Barnes. If you're an old school NBA fan like I am, make sure you check out the Basketball Time Machine with my man Sean David.
My dogs got mad at that intro. Well, YouTube has been messing with my channel for quite some time. If you hear an AI voice, then this is YouTube doing it again. Even though I clicked no AI voiceovers. If you hear it, you can change it in the settings. This Shiza has been going on for some time now. Yes, agreed. The same thing goes for my channel and every other channel, you guys. I've done the same thing. I've turned it off on my master settings. So every video I do should not have AI voiceovers because for now they're terrible. Maybe someday I will turn them on, but for now they're so bad that anybody who's not in America or an English-speaking country is getting a terrible rendition of these videos. So same goes for you guys. If you are getting this on some other videos, check the video settings, like in the player, and you should be able to turn it off. Anyways, on with the show.
Hey guys, what's good? Welcome back to the Basketball Time Machine. My name is Sean David.
What up,
Thanks
Sean?
for tuning in. Let's talk some old school NBA basketball.
Yes, please.
Now you have seen it in the title. There are still, I don't know where it comes from, but since I would say 2024, since Rasheed Wallace had this infamous segment on his show, people truly believe that Michael Jordan was not a great defender. And to me, it's just outlandish because on the one side I feel, okay, if it comes to the younger generation, I would understand because they haven't seen Michael Jordan play and they probably don't understand what defense was like back in the days. But when it comes to players like Rasheed Wallace, I feel that they should know better because there is evidence on videos. And I'm not only talking about highlights. You can watch entire games. And so. But in today's episode, I will take a look if that's really true, which we all know is not.
Anyways, that's how I suggest anybody gauges how good of a defender anybody is. Highlights don't tell a story. They're just showing highlights. Watch how they're playing on an offensive player. Like just really watch what they're doing. Are they serving the team or are they hurting the team with their defense?
But I will discuss it. But before we start with that, let me ask you guys for a small favor. If you're new to the show, subscribe to the channel.
Done.
If you enjoy the content, leave a like.
Done.
And I would say, let's dive right into it.
And what Sean probably don't want to say here is if you watch that Rasheed Wallace thing, dude, the guy is like, he's baked out of his brains when he's talking about Jordan's defense.
Now, in case you haven't seen that little segment of Rasheed Wallace
do it.
on his show, have a look. This is what...
All right, just look at his eyes. Yo, we've all been there. But, like, it's just like, we've all been there. But, like, the thing is, like, I'm sure we all say, like, random goofy stuff. And we don't mean for it to be taken so seriously. But the problem is when you're doing a podcast and you're baked off your brains, well, we are going to take you seriously because you're putting it out. You're publishing this.
Raised the entire discussion.
Watch his eyes.
Mike wasn't all that good of a defender.
10 all defensive teams. That Michael Jordan.
All that's NBA shit. Yeah, we like Mike. We gonna put him out there. I'm talking about being out there. I seen this get his ass bust where he couldn't stop him up against J.R. Ryder. Probably against Clyde Drexler. Shit, don't forget the early Joe Dumars. And I'm not saying that he didn't play defense. I'm just saying that his defense wasn't as high as most other cats at that time. I couldn't put him on like 10 or 11 consecutive first team all defensive joints, dog.
Now we could say, okay, it was just Rasheed Wallace on his show. We can let it go. It was just one person. But as we know, Gilbert Arenas also has a show. And him and some other former players discussed the same thing. And I was shocked. I was literally shocked.
Okay, well, Gil, that's a clutch sports thing, though. Rasheed, not so much. At least I don't think. I really don't think so with Rasheed. But yeah, Gil, we could just take it and throw it out the trash because it's paid statements.
Let's have a look.
Brandon, I'm gonna start with you. Michael Jordan wasn't all that good of a defender. Facts or cap?
That's a fact.
Oh, Lord.
That's a fucking fact.
And what leads you to believe this?
Crazy.
I just feel like his dominance on the offensive end just took over anything he did on the court. If it came to defense, like guys like you said, Kenyon Martin, Rasheed Wallace, and all these guys who really are defensive players, I'm gonna take advice from them before I take advice from Mike when it comes to the defensive end. But that doesn't mean he didn't play defense or anything like that. I just feel like, the first person I'm going to about defense probably like Gary Payton or, guys like that. So I don't consider him like this great defensive player to me. I just think overall he's just dominant.
Maybe in this.
Wait, so because he's such a good offensive player, we can't take him seriously on the defensive end? That was the whole narrative he was trying to destroy in 1987, because he was like, everyone's just talking about my offense, but no one's paying attention to my defense. It doesn't mean that he wasn't. Just because you're great on one side of the floor doesn't mean you can't be great on both sides of the floor. There's plenty of two-way players that were great at both.
Era, he wouldn't be considered.
Hold up.
Oh, he's just dominant.
Maybe in this era, he wouldn't be considered one of the elite defenders, but in the era he played in, I think so. But again, like we was talking about the blue guys, the high IQ guys, I don't think he was one of those.
You don't think?
As far as...
I don't think he was a high IQ guy. Well, most people who ever played against him say he's the highest IQ player they've ever seen. I don't know, man. Plus, her first statement was, in his era, maybe yes, but in this era, maybe no. We judge everybody by their eras, how dominant they were in their eras. We still do it to this day. When we talk about, say, LeBron James, we're comparing him to the other greats in this era. So when he says, I crushed all my foes and beat all my opponents and blah, 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 we're going, no. There's Tim Duncan, there's Dirk Nowitzki, there's Kevin Durant, there's all these, Steph Curry, yada, 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 the list goes on. We're not saying, oh, you didn't crush MJ. They never played against each other. That doesn't count. You know what I mean? So we always judge somebody in their era. And when we're judging Jordan in his era, if you can say he was one of the best defenders in his era, end of conversation. That's where it ends. Same goes to all the way back to Bill Russell. You can't say, what would Bill Russell do in today's game? We don't freaking know. He wasn't born during this time. He was, he was dominant in his time. Judge him against his peers.
As the net player.
Okay, hold on. Let's get this whole thing now.
Again, like we was talking about the blue guys, the high IQ guys. Like, I don't think he was one of those.
You don't think? Ooh.
Like, as far as the net player.
Wow.
To me, what we have just seen belongs in the dumbest ShIT that I've ever seen in my life. Just for the record.
I'll say it's some dumbass shit, man. It's some dumbass shit, Sean. What you've just said has now made us all stupider. I award you 0 points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Michael Jordan was not only a great defender on ball, he was doing chase down blocks, which nowadays is this big thing. He was doing that like crazy back in the days, but also great help side defender. And there are so many people who played alongside his former teammates, like Kenny Smith, for example, Dennis Rodman, for example, people who give him the biggest love in the world, saying and stating that Jordan was incredible on defense. Even players that are in the first category, like a Magic Johnson, so to speak. Now, let's have a quick look.
Yeah, y'all like highlight reels? Here we go. And I'm still saying, like, the highlights won't do it justice, but it's certainly fun to watch. This is cool, though. He's showing more, like, lockdown. Yeah, that's a perfect example right there, how you're the best on both ends. Yeah, he's definitely not high IQ on the defensive end. Look at this. This is terrible. He can't read anything.
Now I want to go back to the little clip of Gilbert Arenas' show where he claims that Jordan was not guarding the greatest players and he was always shoving that job to Scottie Pippen. Let's have a look.
So he's no different than like a Drew Holiday, where I'm the net guy. I'm making sure this guy don't come. What's the name? Patrick Ewing likes to go this way. I'm gonna come this way. But if you try to take him off the dribble man to man, right, that's where his exposure was when you had high-level guys. Remember, in the 80s, you didn't have 3-and-D guys. You didn't have the three-level guys where he has to guard you shooting at three. Like, for the most part, like, let's say John Starks, right? John Starks didn't dribble like that. So when John Starks pump fake, he didn't take them off the either. Where's John Starks going, right? Like, think about what moves did they have in the 80s?
That's what I'm saying. So, like, when I didn't know he was that type of player based on what is shown to us and what I've seen about Michael Jordan. I had no idea that that's how he played defense and that's how he got all those accolades.
Yeah, he was a wrong guy. So when you see him on someone like Iverson, right? Iverson gets the best of him because Jordan wasn't used to that type of player yet. Like when you got Grant Hill coming down and he's crossing over, Jordan like, oh, hold on, Pip, this is like, Pip, this your type. Let me go net.
Again.
Okay. Iverson accomplished a killer crossover against MJ very successfully once because Jordan had never seen it before. Now, Allen Iverson is one of the greatest offensive threats of all time. Of course, he's going to get that move off on everybody, including MJ. MJ's human, He's not like, I know the way we see him, but he's a human being, So he had to learn how to read this. But yeah, saying he gets the best out of Jordan, I dare to see what the comparisons were. And that's when Allen Iverson was scoring at his peak. And also when Jordan's scoring had gone down a couple of points. I still bet Jordan was getting the best of him, scoring-wise, in those matchups.
If you have great defenders like, let's say in the first three-peat, you have Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Horace Grant. And in the second three-peat, you have Michael Jordan, Ron Harper, Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, so-and-so. Randy Brown, also very great defender. People underestimate that.
Shout out to Rodney Brown. If you know, you know.
to change matchups. There's no sense in guarding the best player the entire game. It doesn't make sense. But to say or to claim that Jordan did not guard the best player on the opposing team is just bull.
It is.
Again, he was guarding Clyde Drexler. He was guarding even guys who were much taller, like a Larry Bird. He was guarding a Magic Johnson. He was guarding a Penny Hardaway. If you don't believe me, have a look.
Do it.
All right, Greg. Coming off that soundbite, it reminded me, we talked about that this morning. He said, you know what? I'm going to try to get the offense involved and see who's going to step up. But if they don't, I won't wait long before I take over.
Pointers he's missed this afternoon. 1 for 26 in the postseason.
Yep, that's Penny, by the way.
Coach Jackson trying to pump him up a little bit. He said, yeah, Tony, your point.
And mind you, Penny is a point guard. Okay? But MJ is still taking the assignment because he's the biggest threat. Jordan's a shooting guard, y'all. Yep, good defense.
Down the lane.
If MJ wanted to, he'd give the assignment to Ron Harper because that's Ron Harper's position.
Well, Jordan's pressure defense forcing Penny to put the ball on the floor. A little help came over from Ron Harper, and that enabled Michael to get his hand in there to knock it loose. And every time the Bulls are able to force a turnover, it's a great move there by Michael.
70 to 60.
Yep, that's MJ and Matt. MJ and MJ.
They roll it low to Worthy. Stripped away.
So not only is Jordan guarding the main guy in this one, but the second the ball is out of Magic's hand, he's the weak side help, and it causes a turnover.
Michael Jordan was one of the most fundamentally sound players in NBA history.
Yep.
No doubt about that. And if you watch carefully and if you know the game of basketball, if you look how he positions himself, because it's not only about the steals and everything, it's also putting yourself into the right position, fundamentals, basketball IQ. This guy was insane. He was insane. Plus having to carry the offensive load.
I agree. The thing that actually should define good defense isn't actually the steals and the blocks. Obviously, those are important. Those do need to be factored in. But the most important thing is, okay, if the matchup is Jordan versus Penny Hardaway, then we're going to take the average that Penny Hardaway scores throughout the season, okay? Compare that with how much did Penny score against Jordan when Jordan was guarding him? If Penny's scoring more against Jordan than he is against the average, well, that shows that he's not very good at defense, right? Because Penny's killing him every time, if that was the reality. Now, if it's the other way around, if Penny is averaging 25 a game, for example, but then every time he matches up against Jordan, he's held to 19, well, that's showing you're making a difference on a defensive end. You're preventing him from doing what he wants to do. That's actually what good defense is. It's not just about the steals and the turnovers. It's about you making, your opponent uncomfortable the entire time and not get his usual numbers in scoring.
And the one thing that I can advise to you, if there are some coaches of you, he had this incredible Michael Jordan fundamental DVD or VHS tape a long time ago, like 16 years ago, where he would explain what he would do. Have a look.
Pivot, drop step.
I've seen this.
And then slide. Keeping your defensive stance, keeping your balance, keeping your butt parallel to the floor, staying in a low position so you can move a lot quicker. Once you come out of your position and stand up, you got to go back down here before you move again.
Now, this video I used to watch like crazy back in the days.
I gotta watch it again, Sean. It's been a while for me.
Because I would implement a lot of that into my practices, because I thought, hey, if you want to learn, you gotta learn from the best.
Absolutely.
And yes, Gary Payton is a great defender and also a defensive player of the year. And there are also some other great defensive players. But, and that's the other thing, there will never be just one great defender. So I understand if some players say, oh, I rather would get advice from that guy or that guy, but to claim that Jordan is not a great defender is just bull.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's insane.
Yeah, we don't need to discredit anybody else and their great defensive skills. There's plenty of great defenders throughout the history. But I will sure as hell defend Jordan in this, because he is one of those great defenders. It's just so weird. It's just so weird. Times are so weird right now.
That guy even had 10 steals in one game. 10 steals in one game. So guys, to wrap this up, Michael Jordan to me is also one of the greatest defenders of all time.
Agreed.
Plus the additional load that he had to carry on offense. Great on-ball defender, great help side defender, great reading defense, anticipating and everything.
Yeah.
And yes, of course, some players cooked him. I mean, to put this against him, like, oh, Isaiah Ryder cooked him, and oh, Clyde Drexler
He
cooked
also
him.
cooked Isaiah Ryder. You know, that's the thing.
Of course they also cook Michael Jordan because they are able to cook everyone.
Yeah.
If you are a true superstar, nobody can guard you and make you not score. It's impossible.
Yeah.
They can contain you, they can slow you down, they can take the ball away from you, but they cannot destroy you the entire game. It's impossible.
Yeah.
And even to say something like that, to me, is pure stupidity. But
Agreed.
nowadays, it's not necessary to have the smartest people on YouTube. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Anyway, you guys, thanks for watching. I hope I could convince you or at least prove to you that Michael Jordan was great also on the defensive end. And I hope to see you next time on the basketball time.
You know it, man. You know it. To me, it's like this. To reiterate what he's saying or piggyback off of what Sean was saying there. Take the I did a reaction recently that showed Kobe versus Raja Bell, right? That whole whatever you want to call it. I mean, it was what it was. You take a dedicated defender like Raja Bell, like literally, that's what he does. That's what he specializes in. And Kobe still cooks his ass. Does that now mean he's a bad defender? Hell no. He was a great defender. But guess what? The greatest scorers of all time don't give a damn who's guarding them, no matter how good they are. And I would say that includes Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Tracy McGrady had his time, Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson had his time, where you just could not stop these dudes. And of course, I miss some people. It is what it is. There's a lot of people to list, but the greatest scorers of all time cannot be stopped. They cannot be. There is no Jordan stopper. There is no Bird stopper. You know, there are just people who can make them a little uncomfortable. And even if you do make them uncomfortable, sometimes they're still going to go off for 50. It is what it is. But that does not mean you're a bad defender if that happens once. It doesn't work out that way. But yeah, I think like just taking the averages would be the best way. You know, who's matched up and, just take the averages and you can see the differences. Not just one game, but throughout time, you know? Because especially when you have the first time someone's matched up against someone, as a defender, it takes a while until you could really recognize and break down what that offensive player's tendencies are, especially if they're a great scorer. You have to really take a little bit of time, watch some film, and figure them out. Now, we were watching a documentary on Jordan's Wizards years. You can see what a great defender he is because he was going against guys like Paul Pierce, Vince Carter, and what he was doing, he was getting cooked in the first half because he ain't never seen this before. But then you go to the second half of the game, and he is locking them down, sometimes holding them to 0 points. Like, that is amazing in my opinion. Like, absolutely phenomenal to be able to read tendencies that quickly within one game. Never even getting a chance to go, think about what just happened, watch the film, and go, oh, that's what he's doing. That's what he's doing. No, Jordan did it all in real time. And that is phenomenal to me. And that's why I never want to hear crap about him being a bad defender. He was a brilliant defender. He's a brilliant defender, and every great defender got cooked once in a while. Last example, Alonzo Mourning. Alonzo Mourning's been dunked on by everyone. You want to know why? Because he went for every freaking block, and he didn't care who's dunking on him and who's not. He wanted to stop the ball from going into the basket. Now, does that make him a bad defender? Because Michael Jordan, dunked on him 5 times or 10 times throughout their career? No, it does not mean that, guys. It's not how it works. Every great defender is going to get cooked. every great defender, and especially the greatest ones, because they're not playing casual. They're not playing careful. They're playing to literally get something done, which is lock someone down and prevent them from scoring. Sometimes that doesn't work out well. You know, sometimes you get dunked on. Sometimes you get burned. Sometimes you fall on the freaking ground. You know what I mean? Anyways, what are your opinions? I am totally in line with what BTM is saying here, like 100%. Like, I agree with Shaun, but you know, also we saw his whole career, so you know, I see these young cats who didn't really watch MJ and are talking about it. Like, from what I've been shown, you know, like on the Gill show. Well, from what I've shown and what they've shown me, I don't think he had a high IQ like that. Bro, just go watch the games. Just go watch the games and you decide for yourself. Forget what other people are telling you. Just go find out for yourself. All right, I rambled on long enough on this outro. Time to get out of here, guys. Go check out BTM's channel. Go give him some support. His channel and a lot of channels right now are struggling. There's a lot going on. I don't really want to get into it. I'm sure you guys are all tired of hearing about it, but it's been a rough time. So BTM is one of those channels I feel like we should protect as a community, because he started this. He kicked the door in for the rest of us. So please go check out his channel. Link is down below. Guys, like the video if you liked it. Hit that subscribe button if you want to subscribe to the channel, and hit that subscribe plus if you'd like to support my channel. And most importantly is to be water, my friends.